10 stocks to watch next week, my friends. What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I am not a financial advisor. I got the clothing line to prove that fact. And today we have 10 juicy stocks to watch next week. This is something we like to do on the weekends. We make a little bit of a watch list for the week that is to come. We look at some companies that have had either some interesting price action going on or have had some recent news come out, either good or bad, and we try to see if we can identify any opportunities in the market. And there's a lot of stocks to choose from this week, in all honesty. I mean, I could have gone on forever and ever here, but I said we'd keep it to 10. So in today's video, we kind of have a mixture of a lot of things. We have some penny stocks that I'm looking at for potential swing trades, and then we also have quite a few of our long-term stocks that have had some big news come out over the last few days in particular. And since there is 10 stocks, just so you're aware, we're going to go through everything quite quickly. We're essentially just going to be looking at the price action and covering one or two interesting points that have happened recently. So right before we do get into the first company of today, can I please ask you to hit that juicy like button? Drop me a comment down below. Let me know what's on your watch list for next week. What's your number one pick? And please, my friend, if you aren't new around here, hit that juicy red subscribe button. Join the family of investors, my friends. And feel free to hit that little notification bell as well if you want. And also, if you're interested, please hit that first link in the description. And sign up to my private Discord group, baby. In there, you'll get access to all of my buy and sell alerts. You'll know if we pick up any of these stocks next week. You join a community of over 900 investors. You get access to over 50 private channels. And I also have a top penny stock that I'm not going to include in today's video. That's just going to be for the patrons. And if you want 4 free stocks on Webull, all you gotta do is hit that second link in the description, sign up, deposit $100, and get your free money. It's easy. But the very first company I want to speak about today is Orbital Energy Group, okay? Ticker symbol OEG. We've actually been covering these guys for a while on the channel now. I initially called these out on YouTube at 148 a share. Now you can see we're currently at $3.40 a share, and on Friday they actually made highs of $3.93. So this company has performed absolutely incredibly. Me personally, I've swung this one twice. We've made money twice, but I don't have any long-term position. But I do think this company has some long-term potential. Back when we were at 148, I put a 6S price target on it for the year of 2021, which would represent $9 a share. It's already gone up about 150% at the peak, so that could well be coming true this year. But a couple of really interesting things happened price-wise. So you'll see I kind of had this triangle forming here. We had this wedge, and we broke out. And when we broke out, we smashed through the area of resistance that I had drawn out at 251 for a while. We went on that huge run up to the upside before a little bit of a pullback. Now, this is normal behavior with penny stocks. But in the Discord, we've been speaking about this one a lot, and it was really respecting trend lines for a long time. And when a penny stock is respecting those trend lines, you can expect a big move at one stage or another. That's not going to happen forever, and more than likely it's going to break out in one direction or the other. Now, this time, you know, it was nice. They went up. I know a lot of guys made a lot of money because I had a lot of guys holding these long. I didn't play this move, but some of the family's eating anyway, baby. What am I looking for to happen next? I honestly don't know what's going to happen Monday. I don't think anybody can tell you what's going to happen Monday, my friends. Wait and see, okay? This previous area of resistance is now going to turn into an area of support, hopefully. So 250 is a number that you have to be looking towards. Now, that represents huge downside. Maybe they're not going to get back down there. But there is, of course, a chance, especially when you look at some of the technical indicators. The MACD, I mean, look, it's very high. And the RSI, look, we are simply put overbought. So one thing I like to say when we speak about penny stocks is don't get greedy. You know, if you're up 100%, 150%, don't be afraid to take some money off the table, my friends. Not every penny stock goes up 1000% like we've seen a few do lately. But it's definitely one to have on the watch list. We have definitely called this one very well so far, so I'm going to be keeping an eye out. If I can see any trends forming, we're definitely going to play this again next week. So that was a penny stock, that was a swing trade. Now we're looking at one of our favorite long-term investments. We're looking at NIO. Why? Because NIO Day just happened. Now, I did upload a full video on these guys earlier on. You will see that they literally just made all-time highs in anticipation of NIO Day. NIO Day went absolutely incredibly. I'm expecting an upward move for NIO on Monday. But what I do want to point out, yet again, the technicals. We look very overbought as of right now. So if we do see a gap up at market open, I'd be willing to bet quite a bit of money that we're going to fill in that gap. And I do think that is a reality that we do gap up. From what I'm seeing so far, Monday is looking to be a green open. Now, things could obviously change. Something could happen today or tomorrow pre-market. But if it's an overall green day, I wouldn't be surprised if NIO sees another 7, 8, 10+% move. But if we gap up very heavily, keep your eyes peeled because I do think a pullback will be imminent. Now, when it comes to entry points, I'm holding NIO for a long time, okay? 3, 4, 5 plus years as a minimum is what I've been saying, especially when we see how well they've performed over the last 6 months, every single month. When we see the new technology they're coming out with, when we see how cost competitive they're staying in regards to Tesla and everybody else involved. But again, no stranger to volatility. I wouldn't rush into it with these guys. I'd let the charts tell you when to enter. Okay, boom, IDEX. So, a couple of interesting things happened here. I did make a video on these guys earlier on in the week. Some positive news came out for them and they went on a really nice run up before we saw a considerable pullback. And what's very interesting, if you go all the way back to the 22nd of June, they made this high and we respected it. We respected it within a couple of cents and retraced back down off of it. So again, guys, this is an idea of where the technicals can show you. Look, this is right where it happened. We went into overbought territory. We sold off very quickly. Now, there is a filled in gap right at about 176, but there is also a very strong area of support down there. And we now also have a quite prominent area of resistance just below $4 a share. Now, with this company, I think they have a lot of long-term potential. So if you are long on this company, I don't really have much against buying in at this price. I do still think there is considerable downside, at least 30%. If you're swinging this company, I don't like it at these prices, okay? I think the direction is too uncertain. I think we could see a big move up or down very easily. With me personally, I would be patient with this company as of right now. I'd be waiting to find a nice entry point, regardless of whether I'm short or long, in all honesty. But it does need to be noted that now we have an extremely clear area of resistance. Beforehand, we didn't really. I mean, back here, towards the end of November, they absolutely spiked up through it very quickly and came back down. Here, we just barely didn't reach it and then came back down. So now I would consider 395-ish resistance. Okay, right, this one's very interesting. Very interesting. It's Drive Shack. I see a swing opportunity presenting itself. I want to show you guys a couple of things that's going on right now. There was a very small gap created here. Look. We are now treating this gap as an area of support. We are at oversold levels. The MACD went very bearish and looks to want to turn bullish again. There was a gap filled in right about 268. I think that is very realistic to be hit, but I also think that they could shoot up very quickly if a positive catalyst is to come out. So this is definitely one of my top 3 penny stocks that I'm looking at to swing trade next week. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. It's not a BNGO. It's not a CLWD. It's not going to move 200% in a day. It's not going to run away from you that quickly, but it is a lot easier to read and it's a lot easier to predict a 10 to 30% move with a company such as these guys. Now again, this is one I've been watching for a long time. I forget exactly when I covered them, but I believe they were relatively maybe mid-ones, something like that. And again, this is a company who went on a really nice run and who I do think has long-term potential, but right now I'm looking at them for a swing. Whenever I see a stock consolidating around a previous gap, turning that into an area of support, I mean, it looks to me like it wants to break to the upside, especially when the technical indicators are telling me that MACD on the 4-hour chart wants to turn bullish. That RSI is a little bit oversold. And again, if you have a look at this company since it started going up again, the last time we were at these oversold levels, we went on that huge bull run. Now, in the past, that hasn't been the case. They've been oversold and they've stayed there for a long time. So don't think that has to happen. But I'm really interested to see what happens Monday, and as I said, this is one of the more likely plays for me to make next week. SBE, Chargepoint, baby. So we just got news that the merger, or the vote for the merger at least, is going to be on February 11th. So the SPAC that is SBE will change to Chargepoint, my friends, and this is very exciting. We also are trading within a very prominent range right here. We have been doing so for a long time now. Bring it all the way back to the start of December. We've kind of been trading between 34 all the way up here, right at around 43 or so. The thing about Chargepoint is not a lot of new news has been given to us investors lately. We have obviously been on an immense run up. Again, it's a company I bought in the 13s initially. We're up over, I think, 200% in them. We're very close to it at least. It's a long-term hold for me. Zero interest in swinging any of my shares here, but I do potentially have interest in buying more. Now, I more than likely won't touch these guys on Monday, okay? What I want to see happen is I want to see what happens if we touch 43 again. I want to see if we're potentially going to pull back after getting this merger news, or if we're going to break out and attempt new highs off of this merger news. And I think both cases are just as likely as the other, in all honesty. The RSI isn't telling us too much. It's pretty much dead on neutral. The MACD looks to be turning bullish, but, you know, it's not a very clear sign. We just broke above the 50-day moving average again with a little bit of bullish momentum, but nothing crazy has happened. And that's exactly why they're making the list today. I'd like to see something crazy happen. I mean, even on Friday, it went up 6%. And I mean, that's just this here. That's just these green candles here. There was a little bit of a gap up. We filled it in. We went up. I want to see some clear direction. And I want to buy more shares. I want to add to my position. I mean, I bought these guys in the 13s and the 15s. I'd be willing to buy them in the low 30s. But again, it is speculative, it's not merged just yet, and we all know what can happen in anticipation of mergers with SPACs as of late, so tread cautiously if you don't already have a position. My baby, Workhorse. I mean, it has to make the list. We're finally starting to see some exciting price action. Now, I've been covering these guys a lot again as of late because we've been getting more orders. There's been some more speculation in regards to a few things, but we're here to speak about price action. So what I had predicted a while ago finally happened. We broke through 2280 with a lot of momentum, and we shot up, broke through 26. Literally exactly what we called. My next area of resistance was laid out at 2816, and that's exactly where we pulled back from. I mean, it couldn't have been any better. I wouldn't necessarily say it was obvious, but I saw something like this happening the next time we got good news. And the same goes for this pullback. You can see a very aggressive pullback. Now, I was hoping we would stay above 25.99. We came about, what, 35 cents a share lower than that. It is what it is. It's not terrible. We have been getting so much positive news for this company that I believe they deserve to test all-time highs again relatively soon, even without the USPS contract news. But that's difficult for Workhorse to do. If you go back and look at all of their major spikes in the past, they were because of the USPS. I mean, no matter how well this company does, I genuinely believe if they got a 100,000 vehicle order tomorrow, it still wouldn't move as much as the USPS contract would. So it is still heavily manipulated in my opinion, but you haven't really had to watch them much over the last couple of weeks. We've just been trading sideways. We've not really been doing anything. Now we are. There is interest in price action. So regardless of whether you're swinging Workhorse or long Workhorse, keep an eye on them. I think there's going to be a lot of short-term volatility here. Hopefully in the upwards direction. I genuinely do believe it will be in the upwards direction, but there's no guarantees with Workhorse. Just add it to the watch list. If you're a long-term investor, keep a bit of a closer eye on it than you have through the month of December, because we're getting more movement again. And while we're speaking about Workhorse, I want to speak about Ride, okay? Look, I genuinely think these guys deserve to be a lot higher than where we are right now. I mean, we're probably in the 6 figures worth of pre-orders right now. Oh, I'm actually wearing my Lordstown Motors hat right now. I think it's insane. I think it's insane that this company is at 21.90. Insane. I think it's still one of the most undervalued EV stocks that is out there. I called them that all the way back here. Before we had 100,000 pre-orders, or even 40,000 pre-orders, I said they were one of the most undervalued EV plays, right when they were around 18 to 20 something dollars a share. Now we're at 21.90. Fundamentals have gotten incredibly better. We've gotten so much closer to actually be producing these vehicles. It's crazy. RSI or MACD aren't telling us much. They're pretty much telling us we're going to continue this period of consolidation. I don't know how. I really don't. I think simply put, one analyst coming out and giving a bullish thesis on this company is going to push them back to the 30s, in all honesty. As far as my long-term investment goes, this is probably one that I'm going to pick up next week. I thought I had my full position built. I don't think I do. I just find it very difficult to pass up at these prices when I have a 3, 4, 5 year outlook after all of the pre-orders we've been getting as of late and the large number of them. It's insane. But that's why they have to make today's list, because they're already in my top 3 biggest positions. They're probably going to be my biggest position next week. So I'm actually going to include Corsair, CRSR, okay? I love these guys with a long-term outlook. Nothing too exciting has happened as of late, and I do believe that could be a blessing in disguise. When these guys initially went public, it was just up. You know, they had their little pullbacks, there was some healthy price action, but ultimately, it was just up. Then we went on some really unhealthy price action, and what happens there? You come down. I mean, look at that RSI, look how overbought we were. They came crashing back down, and I think somewhat rightfully so. Corsair is going to be a giant over the next few years. They already are a giant. I don't think there's much denying that fact or arguing that fact at all. I don't see a world where Corsair is still not a prominent name in 5 years' time. With how quick esports is growing, iGaming, etc, etc, Corsair has so much going for them. We've been in this period of consolidation for more than a month at this stage. Yeah, we've gone slightly above it, slightly below it, but we've respected it a lot as well. Right now we're in the middle of that range. I think from a long-term perspective, we're at good value. I definitely think there is a further 10 to 15% this company could drop. I don't think it should, but I think it could. But I still more than likely would be willing to buy at these prices. But until we get really clear direction, yeah, I don't know if it's worth picking up too heavily yet. Right, let's just speak about everybody's favourite penny stock in the world right now. BNGO, Bionano, Genomics. I've made a few videos on these guys as of late. What's odd is that they have, you know, made some consolidation. Which, when you look back at where these guys were only towards the end of December, it was just up and up and up. And if you go back even further to when these guys were trading at 50 cents a share, it was just up and up and up. They peaked out in the $7. Right now, we're just at about $5 a share. These guys recently came out and said that they were doing a direct share offering at $3.05 a share, which still is something That is quite worrying to me in all honesty. But they also came out with preliminary Q4 results, which showed huge growth, and that seems to be what's moving this stock more so than the offering itself. Now, we've seen it many times in the past. When a company offers shares at a price that's cheaper than the current share price, it doesn't need to go down there. NNDM is one very clear example of that, so I don't think Bionano has to go down there. The symposium is next week. That's why they're making this list. Some really good news could come out. And it doesn't take a lot to move this stock, let's be honest, my friends. One good piece of news comes out, they make all-time highs. It's that simple. At the same time, if things don't go right for this company, I do see them coming back down sub $4 very quickly. And one more that I'm including, one of my favourite long-term holds is Palantir. Now again, we've been in this very elongated period of consolidation. Right now we're towards the support line, so we're at a decent price. Lockup period is ending within the next month or two. That's worrying some people. I don't think you have to be worried at all. Again, what Palantir is going to do, in my opinion, over the next 3, 4, 5 years is going to be huge, and I don't think anybody's going to be able to do what they do or get the contracts they will be able to get. That's why they're making this list. Again, it's very, very easy for me to add PLTR to a long-term investment portfolio, even at current prices. It really is. I think they're going to have a lot of volatility. I don't mean next week or next month. I just mean in general, okay? I think this is the kind of company that we're always going to see 10 to 15% swings in, at least for a year or two in all honesty. Contract news moves them very quickly sometimes it doesn't. But the revenue is growing extremely quickly, the people they're working with, the government contracts they're working with are growing very quickly. I think it deserves to make the list. I am a long-term investor, and yet again, I think I'm going to buy more next week, more than likely. But anyway, my friends, there are 10 stocks to add to our watch list for next week. If you watched this video all the way till the end, you, my friend, are a true legend, and I really appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Your support means the world to me. If you did enjoy the video, could I please ask you to hit that juicy like button, drop me a comment down below, and please, my friends, subscribe if you're new around here. And again, if you want to join that private Discord group, that's the first link in the description. You'll find out if I buy any of these companies next week for either a swing trade or a long term. And you'll also find out that extra special penny stock that I'm looking at. And if you want those free stocks on Webull, that's the second link in the description, my friends. Anyway, guys, I hope you all have a beautiful, blessed day. I'll see you for another video very soon. Peace.